Hey YouTube, it's Zelakai here, and today I'm bringing you another OU battle with kind of the same team as last time, except I've improved it a little bit. You'll see that I've replaced Gothitelle, Jirachi, and Gliscor with Latias, Skarmory, and Lantern. Basically because before I was having trouble with offensive dragons like Haxorus, Scarfment, Dragonite, and also rain teams, especially rain boosted Hydro Pumps. So Latias and Lantern can take those Hydro Pumps, and Skarmory can take the physical dragons. But on his team is gonna. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a little bit of trouble because it looks like it's going to be a stall team with hazard setters and fairly bulky Pokemon in Hitmontop, um, Skarmory, Heatran, Jellicent, Dragonite. I was kind of expecting the Dragonite to be Power Shuffler, which I really hate, and Hydreigon just to be kind of a cleanup sweeper, I suppose. Um, so I'm a bit worried about that because I don't have a Rapid Spinner or anything like that. But I do have hazards to break the multi-scale. I can deal with Hydreigon. I can deal with everything else as well, as long as I work around it. So I'm thinking this could be a good game. So yeah, it was against Gothic, and his Smogon name was Gothic, and then some Japanese thing. I can't remember. But I lead with Meloetta, kind of predicting either Skarmory or Heatran to be leading. He leads with Hydreigon, his Scarfer. But if he leads with it, it's probably going to be a Scarfer. Um, he goes for the Draco and misses as I send in my Skarmory. That would have hurt, but I'm so happy that it missed. But that gives me a free chance to set up Stealth Rocks. He goes into his own Skarmory and just sets up a layer of spikes. So I go into my Chandelure, because that's obviously going to scare it out. He then goes into his Heatran, which was really, really obvious switch, and I just go for the Hidden Power Ground. Now, the reason I go for Hidden Power Ground is, one, not many people seem to run Air Balloon or Heatran anymore, and two, it makes people think that I'm Specs because it does so much damage. It makes people think that it specs max damage when I use Hidden Power Ground, but it's not. It's because most people think that Chandelier is going to be carrying Hidden Power Fighting. But yeah, I do switch out there after his predict him to go into something that will take a Hidden Power Fighting, and he does go into his Jellicent. I do have Thunderbolt for that, so that works out quite well for me. But not really, as you'll see in a minute. I go for the Thunderbolt there, obviously, because he doesn't know what I am yet. As he goes for the Shadow Ball, probably forgetting about normal type. Loads of people do that. I'm not going to hold it against him or anything. Here I go for Hidden Power Ice, expecting him to switch into something that can take the Thunderbolt, like Hydreigon maybe, because I thought that I could probably kill him with another Thunderbolt, but he just goes for the Recover, and that was really, really annoying because this Jellicent was a bit of a thorn in my side later. Although in a way, it was kind of a good thing that I didn't kill it. But yeah, I just keep going for the Thunderbolt, and I can see that I did get max damage before with the previous Thunderbolt because that isn't going to kill. And he just goes for the Scald just to get some damage off probably. Here I switch out and go into my Lantern, as I think he also switched out and go into his no, his Hydreigon, yeah. I'm not really sure why he did that, because I could have just gone with Hidden Power Ice again, but whatever. He then switches out. I'm not really sure why he did that either, because he can hit me quite hard with anything except for Fire Blast. But yeah, I just go for the Ice Beam, trying to get some damage off. As he goes into his Hitmontop, probably realizing that he has a good chance to spin my rocks away and getting his Dragonite. Here I do predict him to go for either the Stone Edge or the Foresight, predicting my Chandelure to come in. I just go for the Volt Switch to see what he's going to do and get me that safe switch because I'm pretty sure it's going to be faster. Um, so yeah, I go into my Chandelure after that, and here I'm just going to go straight for the Fire Blast, trying to do as much damage as possible. But of course, I forget that they have the Hitmontop. But then I did really, really need to get rid of this just to make the Dragonite a bit easier to get rid of. So yeah, I go for the Fire Blast, and that thing dies, and that's fine. I don't really need Chandelure anymore now, except for maybe Skarmory, but I can deal with that with other things. So he just goes for this Dragon Pulse as I miss my Fire Blast, which was kind of annoying because I wanted to get that damage off. But yeah, that means my Chandelure is dead now. I then go into Skarmory, um, and to take the Dragon Pulse fairly well, but not really. And I just go for the Whirlwind because I was expecting him to switch really because I knew that Dragon Pulse wasn't going to 2-hit KO or anything. But yeah, I whirlwind him into his own Skarmory, which is a little bit annoying because that means that he's going to get up another 3 layer of spikes. Here I just go into Meloetta, not really predicting anything, just wanting to get rid of this Skarmory so he can't set up his 3rd layer of spikes, because those things are pretty damn annoying, except for Skarmory and Latias, obviously, but still. He predicts my Thunderbolt, I think, and goes into Hydreigon. It doesn't take it very well, basically because I get a crit, which is kind of justice for Fire Blast, but I don't really know how much Fire Blast would have done, probably a lot. But here I just go into my my Lantern, predicting the Fire Blast or the Flamethrower because I brought in my Skarmory against it previously. I do get the prediction right, but he does get a crit, which is kind of annoying because it means it's more damage on my Lantern than I kind of want. Here he switches into his Jellicent, as I think I just go for the Volt Switch, yeah, because I think he was predicting my Ice Beam and wanted to save his Hydreigon. So I just go for the Volt Switch and go into Vector, which I know can deal with this really easily with the Crunch. So I think no, he does switch out. I thought it was going to stay in. I'm not sure why, but he does switch out. Goes into his Skarmory. I go for a Crunch, which gets a crit, I believe. Yeah, and that does a fair amount of damage. So here I'm thinking maybe I can kill it off with a Waterfall, and I'm not really sure why I thought that. Maybe I didn't notice the crit, but that is what I thought at the time, and that was really stupid of me because now I'm going to take a Drill Peck. But who runs Drill Peck on Skarmory? Sorry. But whatever, he does go for Drill Peck, and that is going to get me in the range where Life Orb will kill me and I won't be able to switch out and back in. However, he does leave his Skarmory in to die, which was a really interesting play on, I guess. It was I wouldn't have gone for it. I think I would probably try to save my Skarmory, but never mind. I just go into my Lantern on the double down because I know that it can deal with a lot of stuff. He goes into his Heatran and he protects. I go for Toxic, predicting him to switch basically, but he doesn't. He just goes for the Protect to see what it's going to do. Another good play on his part. Then he goes for the Stealth Rocks, which is kind of annoying because that means more hazards on my side. But I just go for the Volt Switch here. And I don't, yeah, it doesn't kill. If I'd gone for Scald, I might have killed. But that isn't such a bad thing, really. Here I go into Rhythmic. For some dumb reason here, I predict him to predict me to go for the close combat, but he hasn't even seen my Meloetta go into Pirouette form yet. So for all he knows, this is a purely special one. Oh yeah, Relic's on to go into Pirouette form, then I predict him to predict me to go for the close combat. But no, he does kill me off with a crit Lava Plume, and I don't kill him with a Thunderbolt, which was kind of annoying at the time, but in the end it was a good thing. At this point, I think, right, that's it. I can't do anything because my Latias can't set up because this thing's probably going to have Roar, right? Turns out no, and so this gets pretty stally as I try and set up as many. Basically, the rest of the match now is very, very, very stally. I try to set up my Calm Minds. I go for a Dragon Pulse just to see how much it would do there. I realise that he isn't breaking my sub with his Lava Plume, so at this point, I decide I'm probably going to set up some Calm Minds so that I can potentially take a Draco from Hydreigon. If he does the misplay and goes into his Dragonite and gets that killed, and then goes into his Hydreigon, then I'll just be able to finish it off with Latias. So yeah, that's my reasoning. I'm just gonna keep going for Calm Minds here as he keeps trying to break my sub and doing all sorts of and protecting and trying to get health back and all that. But he is slowly getting his health back. I think after 3 or 4 Calm Minds, I do decide to go for the. I should have sped this up more. God, this is stallier than I remember. I don't really know what to talk about in the meantime. Yeah, I could talk about going to university, I suppose. I don't think I mentioned that in the last one. I can't really remember. But yeah, I am going to university in less than a month now, and that is going to mean that I'm not going to be able to Wi-Fi battle most likely because WEP is such low security. The internet there, which they do have, is probably not going to be WEP, so I'm not going to be able to connect to it to Wi-Fi battle. So I may do some more showdown and things like that. Here, his Heatran did die there, and he does go into his Hydreigon, which is the better play. He goes for the Draco to break my sub, and I just go for the Dragon Pulse to get rid of this High Dragon. Now that means that my sub is gone, so that means he can deal with me with his Dragonite. I'm thinking he may predict me to go into Skarmory and go for the Fire Punch, so I figure that leaving my Latias in to die or take the Fire Punch and kill the Dragonite is the best play. Here at this point, I know that Outrage does like nothing, even from a choice banded Dragonite, and I just go for the Roost. Luckily, he isn't the annoying Parashuffler one, although actually I would have been able to deal with that pretty well um, at this point. So I'm just going to keep Roost stalling him. I think in a minute, either he switches or he switches here into his Jellicent. I do predict that and go for the Whirlwind, which is good because it means that his Dragonite is going to take more damage from hazards. He starts going for the Fire Punch here. I know that I can take that. That is a crit, which surprised me a little bit. But it does tell me that I'm going to be able to take 2 Fire Punches from max health. So he's just going to keep going for those. I'm just going to keep roosting to try and get more and more health back. Basically hoping that he doesn't get the crit. Because if he does get the crit, then that's a dead Skarmory and potentially a loss for me. Although, arguably, I don't know, I might be able to survive a banded Fire Punch with my Lantern, I'm not sure, but it's a question of whether I'd outspeed Jellicent. I can't remember if I do that. Here I just go for the Whirlwind, because I figure I'm at a reasonable amount of health, and the Jellicent comes in, and he's on very low HP, even after leftovers, he's still on red, and I just go for the Brave Bird to get rid of that thing. So that's good, basically, that's really, really good. Then he goes back into his Dragonite, takes some more damage, and goes for the Outrage. I'm just going to roost stall him a bit more. I'm not sure why. I can't remember what I was thinking here, but I do just keep going for the Roost as he outrages. I understand why he went for Outrage. It was basically so that he could hit Lantern as well. But there, I do go for the Brave Bird. I do kill his Dragonite. So yeah, that's a good game. Gothic, whatever it was, I can't remember. I did really enjoy it. It was quite close. It was a 2-0. And I feel like it showcased how well my team is doing now. I mean, that was a fairly standard team bar Hitmontop as opposed to the previous OU battle, which wasn't very standard. And my team still held its own, which was quite a pleasant surprise, honestly, because it usually doesn't do super well. And I'm really glad with, really happy with the way that it's doing. So yeah, if you liked, guys, please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. It really helps. And thank you very, very much for watching. I'll see you next time.